Right now, say I want Josh Taylor and get the Josh Taylor fight because he's Adrian. That's right. So anybody on that pipeline right now, that's a big deal.
I talked to Zab, but the same day that James Tony came in and signed the contract.
Wow.
So I'm talking to Bobo on the phones like this. Look, I got Zab on one phone, I got James on one phone.
What is Crawford gonna do before? He's gonna beat Sean. Everybody listen, he's gonna beat Sean. He's gonna beat Sean. He's gonna beat Sean.
Mike Lewis is the perfect example of what I'm talking about.
Yo, what up? Welcome to Let's Talk Sports, y'all. What we talking about today, man? It's been a minute, but how y'all doing, man? It's a blessing to be back here, man. Hope y'all had a wonderful weekend, had a lot going on, man. But let's get straight into it. We got a lot to get into. I got to touch on a few old topics as well. Because it's been a minute since I've been up, man, dealing with some things, man. Smoke, I'm gonna send you I'll send you the link on the stream in a second, man, if you want to come through. But what up, y'all? We live on the stream, y'all. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. What's up, IG? It's been a minute. How y'all doing out there? But let's get it started. You know, in the hottest news, fresh off the press is Frank Martin and Shakur Srevenson have agreed, you know, the meet, and you know they're just finalizing the details. It won't have to go to purse bid or nothing like that. They agreed to meet later this year. Hopefully, for me, it's in New York. You know what I mean? Hopefully it's in Jersey or New York. I'm looking to come back up there, you know, so we can cover that and be there. But I mean, hey, Frank said, yeah. You know, and I know what everybody gonna say, because right now it seems like you know, Dirk James is under extreme microscope. But let me ask y'all something before we dive into the rest of these topics. Let me ask y'all something. Think about this. You're a trainer, right? You gotta train your fighter to fight Bud Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, Shakur Srevenson, and potentially Deontay Wilder in the same year. What's up, Chi-Town, man? What up with you? How you been, man? I had to get back in here, man. But I want to ask y'all that. For y'all listen to me, think about this, man. Have you ever seen a trainer? Now, I don't know. There's been a lot of trainers out there did some great things in a year. How many trainers you know have had this assignment in 1 year? I got the best fighter in the world, the face of boxing, potentially, however y'all want to argue. But until further notice, Canelo's the face of boxing. The hardest puncher in Deontay Wilder, and possibly the best boxer in the game, Shakur. You got all that in 1 year. Back to back. That's a tall order for any trainer. I don't care who you are. That's a tall order. Now, in order for him to save face and save grace, you know, his fight is going to have to make these fights competitive. You know what I mean? In some form or fashion, but you know, and all I'm saying is give the man some grace. He got a lot of tall orders. It's not like his fighters out there going in the ring against just anybody. What up, Marco? They're fighting the creme of the creme. You know what I mean? But let's get back. Let's dive into it. I mean, for those that's tapping in right now, what do you think about Frank Martin versus Shakur? I know based off Frank Martin's last performance, a lot of people thought he had a real tough outing. So that's not really, you know, boding well for people that were going to predict them to beat somebody as good as Shakur. What's up, man? What's up, James? What's up, man? What's up? I'm going to put the link in the comment section for a minute in a second. Woo! Glad to see you back. Been waiting to hear from you, man. Listen, all right, let me talk to y'all. I'm going to talk to before we get down to the good stuff, let me talk to my peoples, man, because for those that do support and for those that do come through, I appreciate you because I need it. I really need it. Been a lot going on the back end. Been a lot going on the back end. I mean, you know, I got a few things I got to deal with health wise, you know, and of course the health of my family and things like that. But made it back. Made it back. Also got some other thing, you know, everything moving in time, and also got some things working on the back end to try to, you know, produce a better product. You know what I'm saying? It's an available fight for both fighters. They're getting in some work, whereas everyone else is busy or looking to retire. What's up with y'all? Shakur has to dominate. He has to win. Frank can take an L. Woo! What you mean by that, though? I kind of get what you mean, but just for conversation purposes, tell me what it means. Now, it's a lot of people out there that was like, well, Frank shouldn't have took this fight. And to me, Frank couldn't afford not to take this fight. To me, Frank could not afford not to take the fight. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are like, Frank shouldn't take the fight. Listen, Frank got to get it from the mud. People not going to like this take. Frank got to get it from the mud because most of the guys on his side of the street are either too far in terms of status or they busy. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, guys like Pitbull Cruz, they don't need him. He got Tank. Tank don't need him because he's Tank. You know what I'm saying? So, like most of the people even on his side of the street, they don't have to actively seek that fight. See what I'm saying? So Frank gonna be the odd man out, because especially Top Rank not gonna go out their way to put fighters in the ring with him. So Frank got to get it from the mud. Frank got to take this fight, y'all. I'm sorry. Well, whatever the outcome may be, will be. But he cannot say, I just don't want this fight. I'm not gonna take this fight. He got to take the fight. You know what I'm saying? Frank got to take the fight, man. Shakur is the one that is being pushed as the next great. That's what I'm saying. Frank is a contender trying to make it. That's what I'm saying. So Frank has to take the fight because always lifting you. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Yeah, appreciate you. Listen. I ain't gonna spend a lot of time with that. I'll be back Friday. We're gonna do NFL talks and things like that. I'll be back Friday. We can chop it up. I get more into what's going on the back scene and a little bit of what's been happening on the health tip. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. I'm just happy to be back, man. I'm just happy to be back in here with my people. Talk to me out there, man. Like I said, I'm gonna put the link in the comment section in a second. I just want to cook for a minute. But tell me what y'all predictions on this fight. Of course, I'm going with Shakur. I mean, just put it out there. I'm going with Shakur. I don't see. I mean, I want to see a competitive fight. No matter what. In all these fights that we're gonna touch on, we're gonna talk about the rematch. We're gonna talk about that too. I want to see a competitive fight. And Canelo, Charlo. I want to see a competitive fight in all these fights. You know what I mean? We've getting too comfortable with these mega fights or major fights being blowouts. We need to get these. I just need to see a competitive fight. I need to fry the chicken and be like, you know what I mean? That type of thing. You know what I mean? We can't keep having these, blowouts where the fights ain't competitive and all that. And I do believe that. I don't think. Okay, talking about Earl and Terrence in the rematch. I don't believe Earl will do enough to win the fight, the spin-off, but I do believe he can make the fight more watchable. I do believe he can make the fight more competitive, and I do believe we can get a decent scrap. Do you have a feeling that Tank might not be fighting Cruz, maybe setting him and Haney up since Haney versus Progrel fell apart? I'm gonna be honest, man. Right now, I don't know what neither one of them doing. I'm not gonna be surprised with anything they do. I'm like right now, because Tank, I'm sure they're gonna try to get Tank in either at the end of the year or at the top of the year. But Tank can pretty much. I mean, if he decides to take Pitbull again, a lot of people are gonna complain. But it's a lot of moving parts going on out there. You know what I mean? Do I think the Haney fight is gonna happen? No. Hopefully we can get Tank in the ring with either Haney or Shakur or one of them before the end of the year. Now, if Devin Haney available and he ain't fighting Shakur, if he is still interested in going at 140, I'm looking at on IG. I know you're going to say that Ken, it's going to be one-sided. But I mean, is it wrong for me to hope for the fight to be at least competitive? I ain't saying he can win the fight. Is it wrong for me? What's up, Papi Chulo? We live on the stream, y'all. If those that want to tap in, let me know. I'll put the link in the comment section. But what up, Papi Chulo? You know what I mean? Speaking of my man, Papi Chulo, Sanchez McGee, he was successful in this fight. He's a long supporter of Let's Talk Sports. He even had the logo on when he entered the ring. Also, he's down with my man who's often we co-host interviews. My man Smoke With Me TV. Check out the interview. Check out his interviews as well on Smoke With Me TV. We did one with Troy Isley recently. Also, check out the interviews that we do with that I'm with my guys Sibby Boxing. But let me get back to these questions. I got a feeling, but I might just be hoping. I think you hoping. I seriously doubt that we get Tank versus Devin for the end of the year. Y'all get me off my topics. But keep it coming though. But I certainly doubt that we get Tank versus Devin this year. I certainly doubt. My man, Coach Ken from out New York, he said skills pay the bills. Spence need to add on in his corner. I'm gonna touch on that one more time. Listen, the Dirk James slander gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. If I'm Tank, I take the biggest money you can. He has the bills and some legal bills to pay. I'm not getting into that. Realistically, a lot of promoters are putting their finishing touches on 2023 and 2024. But you know what, James? I know you're not going to like when I say this. We've had a heck of a 2023, y'all. We've had a heck of a 2023. We've had a heck of a year, and I still think we got a few, and we still got a few more droppers. Like for real. Lastly, Spence fans started the Dirk James slander. Okay, I'm just saying, you being a trainer, I'm touching everybody's comments on both sides, but you being a trainer, I'm gonna say this to you, man. If your fighter going to fight and he's not successful, depending on everything else, I think trainers get thrown underneath the bus way too easy. I mean, first of all, when the trainer trains the fight, most people listen. Tell me if I'm wrong, Coach Ken. You go over your game plan in camp. So most of the things you say in the corner, it ain't people just because people don't hear you saying do this, do that, do that, don't mean that I didn't address it because we went through this in camp. So most of the stuff I'm saying to you, you should be doing off repetition. You know what I'm saying? So I'm only saying buzzwords. Like you ain't never seen, like you didn't see Roger had to totally instruct Floyd. He'll just say go box, and Floyd know what he means. That means work on the stuff we worked on in camp. And secondly, a lot of times when these fights, when y'all see these fights, the fighter not even listening to what the trainer telling them. But let me go ahead. We have no denying that, not mad about it, but most of the major fights are done. They got to give us something to look for in 2024. I'm greedy. I want it all. Whatever they got left in 2023, still give it to me. I want more. They got to load up a whole lot of big fights between October and December. They're looking to wrap it up. You might got a point there. Like I said, I'm hoping that Shakur versus Frank is either in New Jersey or New York. I need that. You know what I mean? I want that thing to be in New Jersey or New York. I need that one. You know what I mean? If we could get that, and then we look. Y'all saying it ain't a big fight because of the first one, but they're looking to put Earl and Terrence rematch in December as well. And they're also looking to put Deontay Wilder and Joshua in December as well. So like I said, we got heat. But all I'm saying is, why I got y'all, all y'all that's watching on both sides, tell me something. Name a time. If you know of it, I don't know. And I'm not here advocating for no type of bail money for Dirk James. But let me ask you something. This man got Bud Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, Canelo Alvarez, and potentially Deontay Wilder in the same year. That's a lot. I don't care what nobody say. Ain't no mercy, man. It is what it is. When you get your accolades, you got to go for it, man. So, whatever they do in outcome of that, man, shout out to them, man. Prudential Center contract is up, so they're definitely not going to be in Jersey. Well, I'm telling you right now, Top Rank, I don't want it to be the Hulu Theater. I don't want it to be the Madison Garden Theater. I don't want that. But at least, I mean, come on, New York. Y'all got to find a way to hold this fight. New York, I need y'all to get that fight since Jersey can't get it. You know what I mean? Now, let me touch on something. Let me spin the block. Let me touch on something. I'm one of the people that believe. I'm a fan of the Usyk. I'm a fan of Usyk. I like Usyk, but I'm one of the people that believe that punch was not a low blow. And I'm also one of the people that believe that I don't think he would have got up. I think Usyk is a terrific fighter. I advocated for him in Fury. I did. I actually wanted to see that fight because I wanted to see Fury in the ring with somebody that actually moves. Now, maybe he'll fight Fury a little different. But what I just saw, no, that ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't it. So that's all I'm gonna say. I mean, for those that said Fury all the way, I'm fully with you now. He gonna go make his bag with Francis Ngannou, go play around with that, and then when he come back, hopefully we'll get that fight. But I really feel I think Fury is gonna do what he got to do to Usyk as well, and possibly get him out of there. That's me. That I had to change that one moment, that one stolen moment, change my thing. I think it would have been the same result. He would have gathered himself a lot quicker. What you mean about Usyk? You talking about Usyk? Nah, man. Nah, listen, man. Here's what I'm saying to everybody. This is what my TV saw. I can't tell you what your TV saw. I can't tell nobody what they saw on their television. I'm not saying you wrong for what you saw. What I saw a punch hit a man. And he didn't like, because later on that night we saw F.A. Ajaba get hit with real low blows. And even when those low blows is, he kind of, made a gesture, different type of movements before he went down or kneeled down. But I'm talking about the punch that hit Usyk, he went straight to the mat. He went straight to the mat. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no grace period. He went boom down. And then, granted, the referee yelled it was a low blow instantly, and he may have hammed it. People say he hammed it there. I don't. Unless you're telling me his leg trembling was an act. Could be. Because the only person that knows if it hurt him that bad is him. If you're saying his leg trembling was an act, I'm going to have to take you at your word. But me, I think that man was legitimately hurt, and I doubt if he would have made it through that round. That's just me. But with that being said, him getting up and doing what he did to Danny Dubois, that wasn't enough to save the grace for me. That wasn't enough to save face for me because like many people say, it looked like Daniel Dubois just checked out after that. He said that was on the belt line. He got hit there. He just didn't get up. I think, yes, I'm confirming that Usyk would have got up quicker. I don't think so. I respect your opinion. I don't think so. I don't. You know what I mean? I done seen that type of shot many, many times. I've seen many people act different ways. And when he initially got hit, unless y'all telling me he was depending on the ref to call it low. You know what I'm saying? Okay, what we found out now is this. No matter what, we know body shots is not good for him. Anybody that got any kind of skills and his name, I mean, he gonna have to protect that belt line rest of his career. You know what I mean? So hopefully they get that Fury fight soon, and we get that on. We touched on Spence Crawford too. We touched on that already. Come on, bro. He's a warrior. I think mentally he would have got up and figured it out from a check. If he put it like this, if he'd have got up, let's say he'd have got up. Let's say this. Let's say he would have got up because he is literally on the mat for 3 minutes. Then he stood up for another 2. You know what I'm saying? So if he'd have got up, let's say he got up, he wasn't gonna get up immediately. He would have probably got up about round 6. count of 5 or 6, something like that. So that means that boy gets to instantly go back on him. He don't got to wait 5 minutes. See, so I'm saying he got to lay there, sit there, then get up. He said he was ready. The ref said, nah, take your time. So he got a whole boatload of time to get himself together. Now, if you saying he would have instantly got up, that means that man get to instantly get back on him. You know what I mean? That's a game changer. All I'm saying is, look, at the end of the day, the fight is over. He won the fight. I'm kind of glad he still won the fight. You know what I mean? Because I really didn't want to see a Daniel Dubois versus anybody else. You know what I mean? If you would have got up, it would have been a more competitive fight, and then Danny would have been in a fight. Like I say, I'm glad for the result. Now we can move on because I didn't want to see Daniel Dubois versus anybody else because that would have been a very short-lived heavyweight championship. So I'm cool with the outcome. It happened, but it just changed my thoughts on if he was to fight Fury. That's that. Talk to me in the comment section. Stevenson going to watch Frank Martin. I just hope it's competitive. If he wins, no problem. I want a competitive fight. I want to see him. I want Frank, to, go out there and give a good account of himself. Shakur, any kind of win, Shakur is going to ride off into the sunset and be, one of the biggest stars in boxing. I just don't want Frank to just end up by the wayside. You know what I'm saying? Because Frank, I like Frank. I like Frank a lot. I like Frank a good, strong fighter. I like Frank. You know what I mean? So I just don't want Frank to get completely obliterated and just thrown to the wayside and everybody, do you know what I mean? He want the link? I'm going to put it up there. Okay, here come the link. You know what I mean? But that's it, man. That's one of the things. As I'm sending this link out for the guys to come up, let me say this to y'all. The other day, people are up in arms about Canelo Alvarez making a statement about Bud's resume. And I believe, sad to say, it's not going to be competitive. You heard it from here first. That's fine. But you're going to say that regardless of who Shakur fight. I don't think you think anybody can have a competitive fight with Shakur, but you might be right. Shakur is that special. So it's not far-fetched for him to dominate, the fight because he is that special. You know what I'm saying? He is that special. Shakur is that special. Let me say this. I think what y'all heard was Canelo Alvarez is getting prepared for Rematch Charlo, and you keep asking him about somebody that before all the talk or before the Earl Spence fight, none of y'all was talking about me potentially fighting this man for real. So sometimes when you talk to somebody on the status of a Canelo, he like, man, look, man, stop running up on me with this man, man. Every time y'all come to me, stop talking to me about this man, man. I'm not saying he ain't this and ain't that, but stop talking to me about him. I'm Canelo. I'm this, I'm that. Stop asking me about this guy. Sometimes you'll get that kind of reaction. So yeah, and at the same time, if you really serious about fighting me, I'm gonna take a shot. Man, you ain't for nobody but one person. Because he was just bigging the man up before he fought Earl. He was just saying why he picked Earl. He just said all these great things about him. So he can't just turn around and about face, but at the same time, he's saying, yo, man, I'm tired of you talking to me about this man. Nothing against that man, but stop bringing that man up when I'm talking. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Y'all can like it, you can love it. That's my spin on it. You know what I mean? That's my spin on it. There's the link, y'all, for whoever wanted to come holler at me on Let's Talk Sports, y'all. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's all it is, man, DJ, man. You know what I mean? For those that want to tap in, we over here on the stream, y'all. The link is in the comment section. But yeah, man. Yeah, that man, stop running up on me with that man. I don't, listen, we can say, but it's a lot of things we can say about Canelo. We could question, a lot of things. But one thing you can say, he has been on the big stage a lot for about 10 years. He's been on the big stage. The companies that people are trying to, the companies that people are fighting to try to get big fights from are bidding to get his fights. You know what I mean? He's I'm here. Stop asking me about anybody, especially somebody that I wasn't even planning on fighting until y'all just brought it up. That's what he's doing. That's what he's saying. The media loves you when you up and hates you when you down, and they are the main reason situations get started. I get it. I get it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I sent the link, y'all. Oh, Raging Boxing in the building. Talk to me, man. But I said something to get you jumping.
Nah, just haven't bothered you in a bit. Just want to stop by, show some love, see how you was doing.
All is well, man. All is well. All is well, man. You know, just taking, time to get back in here, man. Been a minute since I've been up in here, man. But what's going on? Talk to me, man. What's your takes for the day?
Good. Not a whole lot going on. Obviously, we have a lot of boxing scholars that have come out the woodwork and talking about like whether the punch that was landed on Alexander Usyk, whether it was legal, whether it was no. I mean, really, it comes down to whatever the referee in the ring called at the time. So, I mean, like, we look at the instant replays, we talk about, like, where that belt line actually was and whatnot, but very similar to a prime example, you look at Amir Khan versus Zab Judah. Even though that shot did land, hey, let me finish. Even though that shot did land, it was on the belt line, but when the trajectory of the punch, it came up the way that it did, that cup went right up into the groin. Something very similar, like from the looks of it, because you can even tell by the reaction that punch was not like say for instance, it'd be different if it was a straight punch that landed at that point. Like there was no change in trajectory. It was going straight through. But from the trajectory of the hook that landed and how it was coming up, like, yeah, I could see the argument for that punch being ruled low. I'm not mad about it. I mean, like, we've always said for a while that Usyk doesn't like taking body shots too much. Yeah, we know that. But that particular punch, I'm sorry, I'm inclined to agree with the call that was made in the ring and considering it low.
You are a ref. For those that don't know, this is a referee. So you are a ref. So you're saying in a fight that you're reffing, you'd have called that punch low. I need you on record saying that.
I would have called it low, yes. I would have called it low.
I'm going to tell you what I struggle with.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you what I struggle with. We watch fights in heavy doses. You know what I mean? The amount of fights we watch in the course of a week, in the course of a day. We watch fights. I fight. I've seen punches that were far more egregious than that not get called low. Am I making that up?
You're not making that up. However,
in major fights, not just in major fights.
Right. And again, I'm not disagreeing with you, but even speaking as a referee, you need to take each individual referee as their own individual referee. And depending on the placement and the angle,
are you defending your brotherhood? Are you defending your brotherhood?
I'm not defending. I'm simply just speaking on behalf of referees in general. Because, I mean, all of us are going to make calls that the general public or those at ringside are not going to agree with. That comes with the territory. I know that there are plenty of shots, plenty of calls that I have made in the ring that people disagree with. However, from the vantage point that you are at, a referee is particularly in boxing does not have instant replay. They don't have it. From where that referee was, from the trajectory of the punch, from where it was landing to where it connected. I mean, it's like obviously hindsight's always going to be 20/20, but in that moment, that was the call that was made.
Now, hold on.
Okay. Go ahead.
You're gonna make me go here. I didn't want to go here, but look, you're gonna make me go here. What? I love Alexander Usyk. I don't want nobody to think I'm hating on Usyk.
Right. No, come on. Bring it. What you
But it
got?
did look like it was some hometown flavor going on in there. He clearly was the guy. He clearly was fighting in front of his people. It clearly was set out that this was supposed. He is the. This guy was not supposed to be there. He wasn't there to win. He wasn't supposed to be there to win. He's supposed to just be there to be somebody for him to keep busy with. That facts or no?
That is facts. I mean, but I mean that happens in any fight in which there's an A side and a B side. That's naturally going to happen.
Some B sides are some B sides are B B B B. Hey,
however, the thing is, regardless of what officials are assigned, wherever the case is supposed to be, there's supposed to be clear objectivity. There's not supposed to be clear or blatant bias displayed by anyone. Now, granted, referees might be a little heavy-handed in their officiating, like, oh, watch the holding or keep your punches up. It maybe even get to the point that if you're naturally a body snatcher, particularly in boxing, and the referee keeps telling you, keep your punches up, keep your punches up, keep your punches up. Eventually, you're going to be scared to go to the body because you're going to be afraid of that point deduction or that disqualification that could come because you simply were going to the body. And now there's a difference between it actually hitting the flesh of your opponent and hitting the fabric of your opponent. So, I mean, if you're anytime that you even touch the belt line, you're taking a risk there. I mean, pretty much the thing is, like, the belt line is like, look, I'm gonna let you work in this area right here. Like the top half of the belt line, like by the belly button and whatnot, like that's fair game. As soon as you go below that halfway point, you're taking a risk. And that all depends on, again, where the referee qualifies as within like legal grounds. If you're allowed to punch in that area, by all means, do it. But if it's ambiguous as to where you are allowed to punch and whatnot, that just mean it's a risk that I'm not sure is a warranted gamble, if that makes sense.
Like I said, my heartburn is this: being all the fights we watched and all the fights we've studied and all of the things we did. I got heartburn with that being a low blow. We passed it.
Okay.
We're moving on. I got heartburn with
Fair
that
enough.
being a low blow. You know what I'm saying? And like I said,
and obviously, like now, like hindsight's 2020. I mean, maybe things might change like later on down the road. But us being in essence still hot from that moment of when it happened, it's still being fresh in our minds. Like we all are going to have our opinions and views on it. So I mean, if you want, like maybe 2 or 3 months down the road, we can watch the fight again, revisit it with clear minds, and we can make that determination then.
Bet. Now moving on, everybody. We now just for recap, we were just talking about the Alexander Usyk and the low blow situation. Then we also touched on Spence Crawford too. I'm gonna spin the block and come back to that because we don't talk. First of all, what is who you got winning between Frank and Shakur before we go to the rematch?
Shakur.
How?
I mean, dominant ring presence. I mean, the variation of punches thrown. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Frank Martin. No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying when I say how, I don't mean meaning like I think like it's impossible. I'm saying like, do you got him dominating? Do you got him stopping them? Do you got him like it's just a clear cut boxing clinic?
I think it's going to be a pretty clear cut boxing clinic that's going to be displayed. I really don't foresee it to be like just it's going to be too competitive. Again, not taking anything from Frank Martin, but Shakur Stevenson is that guy. Let's be honest. I mean, what he has displayed in the ring against top level opposition, against some of the most talented people in his weight classes at the times that he has faced them. I mean, he makes other people that are up against him look as if they don't belong in the ring with him. And I feel that Frank Martin is not going to be any different when they meet up.
Okay.
In that fight, the only one that's beating Shakur Stevenson is Shakur Stevenson himself. But I don't see Frank Martin being the man to do it, respectfully.
Okay, real quick, as we spin the block, can Earl make this fight more competitive? Not asking y'all, can he win? I know everybody's picking Bud to do it again. Everybody's picking Bud to do it by domination. Can Earl make the fight more competitive?
I feel that he can, just by the body language and whatnot. I feel that there was a state of complacency with Errol Spence Jr. Like he was just like, oh, this is just another guy in the ring. I'm gonna win this one like I've won all my other ones and whatnot, and maybe believing the hype of his camp and those around him until Terrence Crawford came across and showed I'm him. Like that second round, it was just like, okay, so now I actually need to defend my O. Like, how do I do it? And if you notice, no one in the corner, no one in Errol Spence's camp, not even Errol himself making those adjustments in the ring could compensate or try to adjust to the relentless pressure that came from Terrence Crawford. So, I mean, the fight could be made more competitive if Errol Spence, like, okay, I don't need to worry about the O anymore. The O is gone now. Now, what can I do based upon, like, can I change my angles? Can I change my approach? Can I try to go to the body a little bit more? Can I try to put more command behind my punches? Like, what can be done at this point? But, I mean, even for Derek James, if he's still going to remain the chief second in Errol Spence's corner, even Derek James needs to make changes and adjustments.
Okay, let me touch that. All right, everybody, listen. He don't need to change trainers. The Dirk James slander from one. I never seen a person get so demolished from one fight in my life. So we take one fight, and now all of a sudden everybody's saying he's overrated. He shouldn't be he's not a good trainer. One fight after all of these fights, all of these, success he's had. Listen, if you've never been to a training camp, if you ever get a chance, go. So when you see trainers interacting with their fighters, you'll know that when the bell goes ding on fight night, most of the stuff that you're going to hear is buzzwords, because not only are they not going to say their full game plan, some do, but a lot of times they're not going to say their full game plan on why the cameras did, because people in the crowd can tell the other corner what they heard. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, they over there saying he should do this. Social media is rapid fast. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. And at the same time, everything we're doing now is muscle memory. I should be able to say, man, do this, and he knows all the rest of the things to do because we went over this in camp. You know what I'm saying? I seen it firsthand. I've been through real camps. I've been through whole camps. And again, when we'll go to watch the fight, and the fighter, the corner don't have to say all that stuff that people looking for him to say. They're looking for the man to come to the corner. I got a minute. First, I got to see if my fighter's okay. I got to tend to whatever injury he got, and I got to give him instruction. But I don't have time to say, look, man, you need to step here, do this. We don't have that long to do that. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time,
even realistically, about that 1 minute that coach has, a coach really doesn't even have a full minute. Like from the time the bell rings, realistically, it takes about 5, maybe 7 seconds to get back to the corner. So that's already 10 seconds gone. When the whistle blows for seconds out, that means like everybody wraps up, packs up, the coach, the cut man, the assist, they're out of the ring. So that's another 10 seconds before the next round starts. So really, that is a precious time of like maybe at best 40 seconds to work with your boxer, to reduce their swelling, to attend to the bleeding, to like, okay, you're doing this really good, but you're getting caught with this. Change it around. Like step to this side or that side, come to the outside. Like you only have 40 seconds realistically to try to get your message across.
So
Everybody
him
thinks it's a
saying,
whole minute. You do not have a full minute.
got you. So him
Go
saying to his
ahead.
fighter, stop standing right in front of him. We're hearing him say, stop standing in front of him. That's what you hear. But when him saying, stop standing in front of me, is telling his fighter, whatever they worked on the camp. If I say stop standing in front of you, that means you should be
Move.
doing this. You should be
Move.
doing that. You should be moving. You should be boxing. Your hands should be up. That's what that meant. It don't mean just, that's not all he's saying to him. You understand what I'm saying? Now moving forward. Speaking of a trainer that,
Right, right.
speaking of a trainer that's no doubt going to be trainer of the year, I want to give a huge shout out to Bomac for what he did with Chris
Bomac.
Eubanks. Bomac.
Mm-hmm.
What he did with Chris Eubanks, not getting him back in shape, getting him back out there and going out there and handling business against Liam Smith. Unfortunately, for some odd reason, whatever took place at the airport, he's being held in custody. I believe, to me, that is an extreme amount of time for him to be in prison, and they're losing precious time for him to be with his fighters. So I hope that God somehow, some way, somebody can fly over there. I don't know if we can still send Jesse Jackson over there, but somebody go get Bomac, bring that man back to the U.S. But what you think about the Chris Eubanks Liam Smith fight?
Honestly, I didn't see it, but I personally was like rejoicing when it was like, okay, Roy Jones Jr. is no longer the trainer for Chris Eubank Jr. and we went over to Bomac. Because I mean, if we're gonna be honest, I mean, I've made this point before, but I was tired of seeing Roy Jones III. It wasn't working. Like in every fight that Chris Eubank boxed under Roy Jones Jr., he boxed like an imitation Wish.com knockoff of Roy Jones Jr. And it didn't work. That's how Liam Smith beat him the first time. Like, even in the first fight, I was thinking, well, okay, agree to disagree, and I'll pass the mic back in a second. But just with Chris Eubank Jr. in that first fight with Liam Smith, I said from jump, if he boxes like the knockoff Roy Jones Jr., Liam Smith is going to blow him out very quickly. And as we saw, I mean, Chris Eubank Jr. got tuned up worse than I've seen him tuned up in any fight previously. Like that was terrible. Terrible. So then when this new fight came in with Bomac and coming off the success of like Terrence Crawford and finding a way to connect to Chris Eubank Jr., letting him find his own style to do his own thing and whatnot. Like, they clearly showed a very different fight with Liam Smith, and revenge was obtained. And honestly, I rejoiced at that fight because that's the fight that should have happened the first time. But it is what it is. But now we get a trilogy fight. So, I mean, one knockout apiece. And we're going to get Liam Beefy Smith and Chris, the next generation Eubank Jr. for a third fight. And so far from what we've seen, all of these fights are going to end in knockout or stoppage. So I'm a fan. I'm happy. But I'm going to pass the mic back to you since you said that you did disagree with one of the points I made.
I don't disagree about, Roy need to may give a second thought to about training. Training may not be his niche. But I think that the first fight with Chris Eubanks, I think the fact that he came down from 168 to 154, I think that cut. This is one of the reasons why I don't care under no circumstances. I don't care win, loss. I don't care what happens. I do not want to see Jamel Charlo go up to 168 and come back. I do not. Under no circumstances.
Once you go up, like that's it. Like that is your weight class. Like even for because I mean you might be able to like come back down like maybe 2 or 3 pounds max. But like stepping into a whole nother he came down 2 weight classes for that fight. Chris Eubank Jr. came down from super middleweight 168. Came down to junior middleweight at 154. And as you were saying, I feel that it was too drastic of a cut. And it showed. It just he's not naturally that light. Like he's like super middleweight, light heavyweight. Like that's really where he's most comfortable, where he looks optimal. That's where he should be, really.
Righty. But everybody, listen, it was great to be back. I appreciate my man James for tapping in. Also, Ray John Boxing. Tell them what you got going on, anything you got coming up.
All right. So on my end, I am personally just going to a lot of sanctions and events in the area, trying to get to some more national tournaments, trying to become a more proficient referee, judge, official, and eventually at some point, hoping to settle down and launch my podcast. That we start looking more at the real stories of what happened in some of these bouts and
Woo.
not the official scorecards that were reflected, telling truth
Mm,
to the bouts that actually happened. So, honestly, if y'all got some controversial fights that you want to take a look at and whatnot, those will be those type of fights that we look at.
my God, that sounds exciting. I'm excited to hear. Like I said, for me, Let's Talk Sports Show. We got a lot of stuff going on the back channel. Got some projects that we about to work on. I'll give an announcement soon. We'll be back Friday with the NFL talks here on the Let's Talk Sports Show. But like I said, it's always a pleasure to tap in with my people. Check in on you. We got a lot going on. Boxing is lit. Catch you on the next one. Be blessed. Also, I ain't even put my tickers up. I'm just all messed up here. But
Hey,
look.
it's the first one back after a while. It's the first one back after a while. So be graceful with yourself.
Definitely, definitely. Also, y'all. Also, as before we head out. Also, let us know in the comment section. What times you like this. What times you like this best see content. What type of content you looking for. What area you from. Talk to us, man, so we can better serve you as a content creator, man. With that being said, we out of here, man. My man James, always a pleasure, man. We tap back with y'all soon, man.
Always, always. Take care, y'all.
My brother.